Ethan and I have been in a relationship for 7 years, since college. His indifference toward me is becoming increasingly obvious. Later, he actually did it for the new intern at the company. Abandoned me right after the car accident. I sent him a text message, Ethan, let's break up. He is indifferent to it. Also told friends, it's okay. This is just for fun. How many years have passed? How could she possibly leave me? Until a week later, he only just realized I had been out of touch. Even the luggage has been completely removed. He was extremely flustered. Bumpily found my new place. The door opened. Out came a man with strawberries hanging around his neck. He was extremely anxious. Quickly asked where Sophia is. The man smiled. He just finished work. Too tired to sleep. I'll go call her now, after the car accident. I called Ethan right away. All that was heard on the other end of the line was a busy signal. When he answered the phone and rushed over, I have been waiting at the hospital. He helped me with things. Keeps reminding me, how can you still be so careless while driving? We really need to raise safety awareness. He spoke frankly. If I had known this earlier, he won't let you take the driving test. The responsibility this time lies entirely with the other party. I also countered. I was just driving normally. He rushed over. What can I do? All right. It's all someone else's fault anyway. How could Miss Sophia have a problem? He said helplessly. I was about to continue the debate. Suddenly, his phone rang. Ethan, I can't find the form that's due tomorrow. Can you help me? He seemed a bit nervous. If it's not submitted tomorrow, that will draw criticism. All right. I'll head back to take care of my matters. Ethan, I'm a bit nervous. Can you stay with me a little longer? I saw him leave. Quickly grabbed his hand. What if something goes wrong? He impatiently pushed me away. Aren't you doing well now? What complications are there? He said to me. Sophia, can you stop being so sentimental? Seeing his irritated expression, my heart is growing colder. 7 years of love. There's only this one affectation left. I had a car accident today, partly due to hearing gossip about Ethan and the new intern. Feeling a bit troubled. That's why I couldn't avoid the car of the drunk driver. He is coming. Just blame me for not knowing how to drive. After making a phone call, the intern hurried back to the company. It's really funny over the years. So much has been given to Smith Group, drinking until causing gastrointestinal bleeding. Did he not care about me at all? He just said one thing, Sophia, the future is yours. You are the future leader of the Smith Group. I was young and brash back then. Believed what he said. This is what led to the current situation. After a simple check, the doctor told me it was just a mild concussion. No big deal. Just take a good rest during this time. Just keep your emotions in check. I followed the doctor's advice, quietly taking a taxi home. Start organizing my things. Since it's important to rest well, the Smith Group can't be visited again. Don't let emotions affect you. Ethan, I can choose to walk away too when organizing items. I discovered many memories from the past. The ring he gave me when he confessed his feelings. Also, the teddy bear I received on my birthday when the Smith Group secured its first order successfully. He also gave me preserved flowers, our 7 years. It was spent on days full of deep emotions. But today, I decided to end it all myself after handling all the matters. I sent my resignation email to the HR department, sent a message to Ethan. Ethan, I want to break up with you just as I expected. He didn't reply. Perhaps he is still intoxicated by the warmth of that intern. After all, the freshness in a relationship is the strongest catalyst for deepening the bond between two people. We have been together for 7 years. Lost that freshness long ago, thinking back to when we first got together. He's not that indifferent to me. It seems all emotions must undergo a 7-year test. Looking at this home that no longer bears my mark, felt a bit relieved inside. After leaving home, I signed up for a tourist group on my phone. So many years, I have contributed a lot to Smith Group, but has never been able to experience personal happiness. Now is the time to enjoy. Ethan might still think I'm throwing a tantrum. After all, we used to break up every time. I took the initiative to make amends. He will definitely think I can't live without him. However, this time, I am really determined. Once decided, time flies by quickly. Not long, my travel life has begun. Just boarded the ship. I saw a face that was both familiar and unsettling. That face is quite attractive, but it seems a bit immature, like a boy of around 10 wearing his father's suit. The physique looks good. It's just lacking a bit in charm. Hey, isn't this Miss Sophia? How did you come out alone? Where's Ethan? Jacob leaned in. He said you are usually inseparable. How did you come out to travel alone? Hearing this from him, I couldn't help but feel a bit dazed. That's right. Ethan and I were indeed as close as one body before. We broke up. I responded nonchalantly. A few days ago, it was already split. Jacob's expression suddenly changed dramatically. I seem to see some joy, but it's uncertain whether it's an illusion. It's no big deal. Let's just break up. He suddenly hugged me, asked me what I want to eat. I'll treat tonight. I would easily pry his hand open before, but today I did not resist. Jacob seemed a bit confused at first. Why didn't I push his hand away? Sophia, are you okay? He gently touched my forehead, worried if I was injured in the accident that day. How did you know I had an accident that day? I questioned him back. Why are you so concerned about me? He replied that he heard it from a friend. He immediately withdrew his hand. It's fine. Jacob grew up with me since childhood. Of course, can understand my thoughts. I'm going to talk to the client about something. I'll find you later. He gently pinched my nose. Say, wait here for a moment. Put it on my tab. That's it. He strode over to the nearby table, chatting enthusiastically. I watched his figure fade away, suddenly feel a bit dazed. Jacob first? When did it become so reassuring? My impression of him is still in his high school uniform. The scene under the shade of the tree. In the blink of an eye, he has put on a suit, grown up. Why are you still standing here? He walked over to me. Ask me if I want something to drink. Coping with heartbreak, I followed him to the bar on the ship. The bartender actually thought we were a couple. Served us the same wine. I stared blankly at the glass of wine. I remember the first time I met Ethan. I had just started college then, joined the student council. Every gathering, there are always a few unreliable upperclassmen trying to get me to drink. But at that time, I knew nothing about these matters. Ethan stepped in to help me. He was from the same school, also encouraged me. I developed a fondness for him. It was during that period. I think I'm starting to like him, but now everything has changed. He has gone to help others. Jacob saw me lost in thought. I realize I haven't moved on from the shadow of my breakup. He told me before that guy isn't really suitable for you. Go ahead. How could they suddenly break up? I'll keep you company, help you find a new boyfriend. I saw him like this. Couldn't help but laugh out loud. Who says we're so serious? Being too close can actually make it harder to take action. A fleeting sadness in his eyes, gone in an instant. Today is your stage. I'm not going to hold a grudge against you. He waved for the bartender. Let him get me a drink, seeing him like this. I also started to indulge, drank alcohol before, mainly for business matters. Occasionally, it's nice to drink a little for oneself. It's also a rare experience. But today is my birthday. This is the first birthday since leaving Ethan. After a few rounds of drinks, we started to get a bit drunk. I leaned on his shoulder, dazed eyes. Jacob looked quite good. Right. After all, we were in the same class back then. Many girls ask me to help deliver love letters. However, he did not agree to any of them. So today, should I continue to relax? Little brother Jacob, I whispered in his ear. Would you like to give it a try with me? His ears turned red immediately, pushed me away quickly, stammered, don't talk nonsense. Your dad will be angry with me. Sigh, it's nothing, just one night. I don't mind his rejection, stuck it on again. It is what it is. He still smells of alcohol. The gaze was as bright as stars. Hold me tight in your arms. This is not something to be taken lightly, he whispered in my ear. Once I set my mind on someone, that's a lifelong matter. I smiled and talked to him. A lifetime is just a lifetime. Otherwise, we would have known each other for a lifetime. He held me in his arms. Walk towards the room. I heard cheers coming from behind. My heart gradually immerses itself in this illusory happiness. Ethan became an unattainable name. It's no longer worth my concern. We have arrived. I haven't reacted yet. Jacob led me back to his room. Open the door. At the moment I opened the door, I woke up immediately. The room is filled with my favorite lilies. A small birthday cake was also placed on the table. I found my birthday hasn't been taken seriously by anyone for a long time. Ethan gives me a sum of money every year on his birthday, wants me to buy something they like. I just wanted to have some cake with him. Didn't expect to be called too pretentious every time. Time has passed. I also started to feel that I'm being too pretentious. Didn't expect that he actually remembers these things. I understand today is your birthday, so I just asked the bartender to set things up a bit. He scratched his head, wondering if you would like it. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. You used to love putting cream on my face. Not doing that today. He leaned in a bit closer. The face came closer. I won't hold back. Directly grabbed a dollop of cream and smeared it on Jacob's mouth. While he was in a daze, I gently wrapped my arms around his neck, gave him a kiss. The refreshing sea breeze blew the curtains open. Jacob was a bit panicked at first. Seeing that I have no intention of backing down, immediately become proactive. Sophia, once this is done, there's no turning back. He whispered in my ear. I am willing to walk through this life with you. I don't want to hear his promises, simply sealed his lips. Last night was wonderful. Woke up in the morning. I took a photo of the half-eaten cake, posted on Moments. As long as you are by my side, I feel like there's nothing that can't be done. I received a few comments shortly after. This is a celebration of a birthday with Ethan. Oh dear, so enviable. I explained to each of them that Ethan and I had broken up, then no longer look at the phone. Want to wake up Jacob next to? but when I turned around, noticed he was gone. I was too focused on playing with my phone, completely unaware that he had already left. Feeling a bit down, this can be considered a fate. Just as I was lost in thought, the door suddenly opened. "It's time to eat, Miss Sophia." Jacob walked into the room carrying a large plate of food. "Wondering what you like to eat, just took some over. But you got up so late today. Yesterday, isn't it the first time?" I cast a glance at him. "Is this really important?" "Actually, it's not important." He handed me a bread warmly. "As long as you're by my side, nothing else really matters when dating Ethan." I was thinking of discussing it after getting married. I have explained it this way, but later the Smith Group became increasingly busy, so I stopped thinking about these things. It doesn't matter anyway. He held me in his arms. "I will take care of you." I just wanted to turn around and hug him. The phone suddenly rang. I picked up my phone to take a look. It turned out to be a call from Ethan. I hung up the phone. I found that he sent me over 10 WeChat messages. "Ethan, is this for real?" "Ethan, Sophia. Stop joking. We are just friends." I blocked him right away. "Then lie on the bed." Jacob noticed that I looked unwell. "Come comfort me right away." "Ethan is looking for you again. I'll handle this." He was just about to make a call. I stopped him. "That's it," I said softly. "Let him spend some time with his friends." I probably replied to a few comments from his friend yesterday. As a result, his friend asked him, not long after I blocked him. Ethan's call came in. "Sophia, how much longer are you going to make a scene?" Ethan on the other end of the line still seemed so superior. It seems that as soon as he waves his hand, I will go back to him immediately. "I have resigned." I spoke very simply and clearly. "I don't care whether you are friends or lovers. Do as you please." "How could you do this to me?" I didn't wait for him to finish speaking. Just hang up the phone, also blocked his number. This is my first breakup. Really inexperienced. Next time, I will definitely block all contacts in advance. After getting off the boat later, come with me to the Smith Group to pick up something. I gently shook Jacob's arm. Going alone feels a bit awkward. Jacob immediately agreed. We got off the boat early on the third day. I went straight to Smith's house with Jacob. Ethan definitely won't arrive this early. I planned to settle this quickly. Just as we were packing up and getting ready to leave, suddenly, we heard voices coming from the president's office. I recognized it was Ethan's friend as soon as I heard it. "You just broke up with Sophia?" a male voice asked. "Is it for that intern? She will be back in a few days." It sounds like Ethan's voice. "I'm just ordinary friends with that intern. It's all just overthinking on her part. Do something extreme when there's nothing to do." This time she also blocked me. He smiled disdainfully, really pampered. At that moment, the door to the president's office opened. The intern walked in looking messy. Ethan softly reminded her, "Be careful next time." The brother noticed that Ethan didn't want to bring it up anymore, so didn't disturb anymore, quietly left the president's office. I originally thought there would be exciting developments next. The intern came out in less than 5 minutes. The eyes are still red. Is it Ethan who makes her feel uncomfortable? I murmured to myself. 5 minutes is really too short. Just as Jacob was about to speak, I quickly turned around and covered his mouth. "Stop talking." Jacob first saw my face turn as red as an apple, laughing heartily. "Maybe it's too noisy on our side." Ethan finally felt that something was off. He asked, "Who is in the office?" Since he said so. "I can only go out," I replied. "It's me," I explained calmly. "I'm just back to grab something. Ethan just arrived 5 minutes ago." I said that on purpose. No wonder it disappointed friends. It's really uncomfortable, hearing me say this. Ethan's anger erupted immediately. "Aren't you here with someone else too? What do you really think of the Smith Group?" He threw the pen on the ground. "How dare you say this to me? After all, Ethan and I have already broken up." I shook my head. "Each goes their own way. Take care of yourselves, that's it." I quickly grabbed Jacob's hand first, left the company, once outside. I couldn't help but crouch down. The previous calm has vanished completely. Cry. "It's okay." Jacob appeared calm at first. That's quite normal. I couldn't help but lean on his shoulder. Tears flow uncontrollably. Ethan looked quite awkward. Probably hasn't gone home yet. Think about when he gets home. Seeing that I have finished packing my luggage. What kind of situation will it be? Ethan returned home. The atmosphere at home feels a bit strange. It feels like a lot is missing. The potted plant on the windowsill is drying out from lack of water. It has started to wither. There were a pair of blue slippers and a pair of pink slippers at the entrance. Now there is only one left. This made him feel very angry immediately. "Sophia, how could you do this?" He stormed into the bedroom in anger. It turned out that everything about her was already gone, as if this person never existed at all. The only one left. It's a photo of her smiling brightly in the frame. Prove that they once loved each other. Remember the past. Every time he finishes work and returns home, no matter how late, someone is always smiling and serving him a bowl in welcome. The freshly cooked lotus seed soup is steaming. Sophia's voice still seems to echo in the ears. Take a sip. Warm up a bit before going back to sleep. At first, he was willing to take a few sips. Later, however, began to lose patience. Waved it away. What does this mean? The relationship of an old couple. Watching the light in her eyes slowly fade away, he actually felt a bit satisfied. Yeah, Sophia. You, who always shines like a little sun. Are there times of disappointment? This was always his thought. He couldn't figure out when it all started. The lotus seed soup is gone, but Sophia is still around. This made him feel that he had tamed her, no matter how cold and indifferent he is to her. His sunlight will never leave him, until he met the new intern, made him feel a stir in his heart again. So he started to make advances, tempt the girl, make her feel special. However, he is well aware, this was just a fleeting thought. He truly wishes to marry. It's still the girl who made him lotus seed soup. Temporary neglect is fine. Let's treat it as the last indulgence. Until he received Sophia's breakup letter, he still thinks so. How could she possibly really leave? After all, she loves herself so much. It was just a rash remark. She caused a scene before. As long as I ignore her for a few days, she will definitely come back. It doesn't matter. But that day I ran into someone in the office that he also knew. It's Sophia's childhood friend, as a man as well. He clearly sensed that the way that man looked at Sophia was somewhat off. However, at that time, in her heart, there is only him. There is even a bit of strange pride in that boy named Jacob. It doesn't matter how much you like her. She only has me in her heart. But today, he saw Sophia reach out to take his hand. Suddenly, he felt a bit flustered. The intern entered the president's office. He impatiently drove them away. He just wants to go back. Look at the traces of their past life. Unfortunately, those traces have long vanished. He took out his phone. Habitually wanted to call Sophia, but all that was heard was a busy signal. Sure, that's right, he has been blocked by Sophia. It's okay. She loves herself so much. It will come back one day. He collapsed on the sofa, fell asleep in a daze. Sophia in the dream is still so lively and lovely, as if it had never left. Of course, I have no idea what he's thinking. Now I feel like Jacob seems a bit angry. Just say it. Feeling a bit jealous? But our connection is just fleeting. It seems unreasonable to be jealous. I want to withdraw my hand. He gripped even tighter. You with me? Are these actions meant to upset him? Jacob turned around. Grab my shoulder, say. If that's the case, no need for that. You can't really like me, can you? I smiled and let go of his hand. Brother, we are really close. It could be troublesome to get into a relationship. A glimmer of disappointment flashed in his eyes, but soon regained composure. I joked. Who would like you? Jacob smiled in response. If it's to annoy him, we can be a little crazier. I smiled and patted him a few times, prepare to go home with him. Our home is actually quite close to theirs. However, ever since being with Ethan, I go home less often. Parents saw that Jacob brought me back. Immediately invite him to dinner. Little Jacob, you've really worked hard. Mom said enthusiastically. Let's eat something before we go. Your parents haven't come back yet. Thank you, Aunt. However, there is still food at my place. He smiled and declined. It's okay. Sophia is doing well. After Jacob left, my parents asked me curiously. It's over with Ethan. I nodded gently. I knew that kid wasn't bringing any good. Dad pressed the cigarette butt into the ashtray. Speak slowly. Little Jacob has been waiting for you for so many years. I quickly interjected, explained. We are just good friends. Mom and Dad heard this. I feel shy. No more words will be said. Just busy bringing out a large spread of delicious dishes from the kitchen, with my favorite spare ribs. I couldn't stop the tears from falling. I've been with Ethan for a long time. I do all the cooking for him. Every time he wakes up from a hangover, I will make him a bowl of soft and tender lotus seed soup. Later, he didn't want to eat anymore. I won't do it anymore. The child has suffered a lot. Mom saw me in tears, said with heartache, just come back after coming back. Your parents will take good care of you. There will be no more harm. Ethan, actually, many people are concerned about me. I have no intention of going back to my old life. I lay on the bed in a daze after dinner. A letter from Ethan during senior year came to mind. I was feeling down then. Only he is willing to write to encourage me. I was admitted to the same university as him. The leaves cast shadows on my face. I gradually fell into a deep sleep. When waking up, a message appeared on the phone. Sister-in-law, come and take a look. Ethan is drunk and looking for you. I casually opened the short video he sent. It really was Ethan. He was actually crying at my old workstation. Sophia, please come back soon. Sophia, I was wrong. Please don't go. I can tell. He must be drunk, a little dizzy. But now seeing him like this, I feel nothing inside. If it were the old me, I'm afraid I couldn't hold back from looking for him long ago. Although the short videos keep coming in one after another, but I'm no longer interested in clicking it open. It's just asking me to go back. I am about to delete WeChat, then saw the other party sent a message. He and that intern are no longer together, even bought a ring to propose to you. Do you want to come over and take a look proposal? I couldn't help but sneer. I remember when I was with him. Also talked about marriage. He always says to wait a little longer, find a more suitable time. Suddenly remembered these things. What meaning could it have, this late-coming affection? Actually, it is meaningless. I quietly deleted that person's WeChat, thinking of asking Jacob out to play. He has always been very popular. It shouldn't be ignored because of past relations. Right, I sent him several messages, but he never replied to me. I tidied up a bit, decided to go out for a walk to clear the mind, just stepped out. I saw Ethan drinking at my doorstep. Sophia, let's go back together. He reeked of alcohol. I decided to cut off all ties with her. Sophia, come back with me. I quickly pried his hand open. Ethan, we have broken up. Stop bothering me, I said seriously. If you keep this up, I'm going to call the police. He ignored my rejection, hugged my leg again. You will definitely soften. I was about to call the police on my phone to teach him a lesson. I didn't expect him to suddenly stand up and knock my phone away. How dare you call the police? He asked, somewhat out of control. How can you not love me? He almost yelled it out, seemed very out of control. Look at his crazy look. I suddenly felt a bit unfamiliar. I loved him for 7 years. How did it become like this? But now, she no longer has feelings for you. Now she loves me. A clear, pleasant voice came from behind. If don't leave soon. Once the police arrive, it will be hard to escape. It's Jacob's voice first. How could he know I'm here? But now is clearly not the time for such thoughts. I saw Ethan in a predicament. A wave of disgust surged inside. He sprawled on the ground like a puddle of mud, gazing at me with longing. You are the one who seduced Sophia. I knew it long ago. He lunged at Jacob first. I sensed your restless heart long ago. I immediately called the police. There's no reasoning with a drunk. The safest way is to take him to the police station. Otherwise, one might get hurt. It's hard to explain, but wait until the police arrive. They were still tangled up together. The police didn't think much of it, took both of them away. When I hear from you again, just went to the police station to pick someone up. I just walked into the house. Ethan rushed over, shouted, Sophia, are you here to pick me up? You still can't let me go. Is it? I glanced at him, then swept a glance at Jacob in the corner. He seems completely indifferent, but the fingers kept rubbing. He is obviously very nervous. I shook my head. I said softly, I am here to pick him up. Listen to me. Jacob suddenly lifted his head, eyes sparkling. How can you be so heartless to me? Ethan shouted. Have you known him for a long time? That's why you ended things with me so decisively. Is that so? I didn't care about his anger. First, take care of Jacob's paperwork, getting ready to go out. You wanted to leave a long time ago. Is that so? You wanted to leave me a long time ago, right? After hearing his words, I couldn't help but slow down. Ethan, don't you want to hear what you said? I said in a very stern tone. 7 years. We have walked together for 7 years. I gave my all for the Smith Group. What exactly did you give me? Is it just repeated flirty interactions? Stayed out all night. Just stay at the company. Still the distant wedding date. Always saying not ready yet. Ethan heard what I said, still holding on. He said he has already apologized. Apology? I said with a cold smile. Go apologize to your intern. Talking to others is effortless. Talking to me is the only thing that feels exhausting. The intern issue is indeed a bit troublesome, but my problem in this area is stubbornness. Ethan, you know which one is the key. Stop pretending to be so sentimental. He finished speaking. Ethan really looked like he understood I wasn't joking. Sophia, I was really wrong, Sophia. I promise it won't happen again. Please give me another chance for 7 years. I have given you many chances already. I shook my head, said to Ethan, let's stop here. I didn't wait for his reply any longer, walked straight out of the police station when the conflict just happened. Jacob did this not to affect us. Left early. He is quietly smoking at the door. I grabbed his hand, want to take him home. Unexpected this time. He brushed my hand away. Sophia, let's chat. I rarely see him with such a serious expression. He is usually very casual, but can always help me handle many things. This is the first time I've seen him so serious. If you really like me, I can go to your house to propose right now. He spoke up with apparent determination. But if you just want to make Ethan angry, then let's not continue. I just saw you come in and talk to him. Not even I looked. I think you might be here looking for him, but I didn't expect you to bring me out. This really makes me very happy, but I just heard your conversation. 7 years of feelings aren't something that can be easily given up, so I want an answer. Do you still love him? A gentle breeze brushed by, blew aside the bangs on my forehead, but it made me more confused about my feelings. Who is liked after all? I'm afraid I can't answer this question myself. It seems he is afraid of me giving an answer he doesn't agree with. Jacob quickly changed the atmosphere. He said with a smile, it's okay. I was just asking casually, don't be nervous. I will go abroad after a while. Please help take care of things at home. He said seriously, if you like me, Just wait for me patiently for a while. After saying this, he didn't wait for my response, turn around and leave immediately. Just left me standing there. Who do I actually like? I slowly hugged my knees, crouched down. The wind by the ear is still so noisy, but unable to recall Ethan's appearance. I think I have the answer, but when I was ready to clarify things with Jacob, he has actually gone abroad. The next day, I just arrived at his doorstep. All I saw was his mother smiling at me. She told me, "Little Jacob suddenly went abroad yesterday. She doesn't know why he is so anxious." I asked her, "When will he be back?" I asked her with great anticipation. I was thinking, I want to convey my heartfelt feelings to him. Company matters. It's been about 6 months. Aunt smiled sweetly, as if knowing something. "If you want to see him, you can go to his room to chat." I definitely won't refuse when I confirmed my feelings. Naturally, there is a desire to know all about him. His mother let me inside, then went to the kitchen to prepare food for me. After all, we lived very close when we were kids. Going to his house is just like going home. Jacob won't let me into his room. I think he might just be a little shy. I entered the room, immediately saw a sketchbook on the table. I curiously flipped through. I found that it was full of my sketches. There is happiness, sadness, and pride inside, all kinds of me. Look at these paintings. My eyes unconsciously became moist, from the initial tender strokes to later proficiency. I can even imagine his feelings while painting these, and that signature. It is the signature of the letter that encouraged me back then. No wonder Ethan won't admit he ever wrote me a letter. Those letters. It was all written by Jacob first. I always thought, he will never let you see these things in his lifetime. Jacob's mom brought me a glass of orange juice. He has liked you since he was little. As for why, I can't explain it clearly either. The little guy is determined to marry you, so we felt reluctant to dampen his enthusiasm. Then you got together with someone named Ethan. He was sad at home for several days. We advised him not to be obsessed any longer. He verbally agreed, but has remained single until now. He comes home at 9 o'clock every night. Very strict. One day he got drunk with his dad. Dad asked him how much longer he had to wait. He replied, "Even if she married someone with the last name Ethan, I would also like to be that child's godfather. To someone who is liked, whether or not together, should always protect her." I heard my aunt talking nonstop. Tears have long blurred my vision. It turns out, time has passed for so long. It turns out, your love for me, it has lasted for so long. I'm used to you being behind me. It didn't feel like a sign of love either. But once I figured these out, the overwhelming sweetness inside makes me feel utterly trapped. Aunt, I decided to wait for him. I wiped away my tears, said firmly, "He has been by my side for so many years. It's my turn now, while waiting for Jacob to come back first." I keep flipping through the letters he wrote to me. When I found out those letters were written by him, I feel more connected to each letter. Ethan has been coming to my house to see me, but I'm stopped by my parents every day. At first, I had a few chats with him. Later, just didn't bother with him anymore. Most of the time, he acts like someone who quietly watches over me, always quietly following behind me. I called the police. However, the police said there was no obvious harm done, so no further action can be taken. A few days went by like this. Finally, the news came that Jacob is returning home first. I prepared a surprise for him at home. I sent him a message. Ask him if he can come to my house after the plane lands. Jacob immediately agreed. During his time abroad, we occasionally keep in touch, but we never brought up being together again. I thought I would discuss this matter when he returns. He indeed went straight to my house as soon as he returned. He has lost a lot of weight while abroad. However, it seems more mature than before. I've never seen someone so handsome. He pinched my nose. "Have you made up your mind?" "Of course, it's been considered." "What is this?" I took a ring out of my pocket. "Jacob goes first. You want to marry me?" He stayed there, stunned for a moment. How could this girl do this? His face was as red as an apple. I wish it were me. The last sentence hasn't been spoken yet. I just hugged him, cut off the conversation. He quickly took the initiative, deepened this long-awaited kiss. This kiss was very different from the one on the boat. At that time, there was still some restraint. It is now clear that my intentions have been confirmed. His actions were crazier. I also prepared a ring, just a little late, he said softly. "No, I need to ask again." The atmosphere grew more intimate. His breath made me feel a tingle. I could only smile shyly. "A lifetime, you can ask as many times as you want. Fortunately, you are still here. Fortunately, I am still here. If we miss it in spring, must not miss midsummer again." The next morning, Ethan is back. He knocked on the door for a long time, but his Sophia didn't throw anything away, didn't do anything crazy. The door opened. He felt very happy. Is she finally going to back down? Am I considered successful? When the door opens, I found that standing there was a strong man. There are noticeable marks on the neck. The events of yesterday caused quite a stir. "She hasn't woken up yet. Do you need something?" The man answered casually. Ethan left in a hurry. The man smiled confidently. Feels like there's one less competitor. Little Jacob, who is that at the door? I was awakened by their voices. Ask in confusion. It's okay, just a salesperson. He leaned in and kissed me. Ask me how it was yesterday. Don't be so energetic next time. I endured the soreness in my body, gently gave him a push. Otherwise, I really didn't expect it. This time, I got stuck myself. Now I know you like me. You have to like me in this life. No choice. The end.